Hello, friends. It's Brooke-Sidney here, your favorite mindset and manifestation coach. And today we are talking about the number one thing that is blocking you and your manifestation. Ooh, it's a juicy one. But before we get into it, I just want to remind you there are several ways to work with me: one-on-one coaching, email coaching for the time being, and of course, the manifesting frequency course. So get into it. Let's break it all down. So many of you have been doing all the things. You're visualizing, you're scripting, maybe you're affirming, maybe you're using meditation, all sorts of things, trying to get your money, get your man, get your love, whatever it is you're trying to manifest. But somehow you're still being blocked. Why? Because deep down, you are not even listening to you. Yes. You're not even honoring who you are, what you think, what you feel. And by you doing that, you're actually blocking your own manifestation. So we're going to get into it. I truly am seeing with my clients, when we have trouble owning our power, because ultimately that's what this is about, how can we then be conscious creators and design our lives and reprogram ourselves to be able to manifest all the things that we want? So many people are sitting around thinking that what's wrong with them is they haven't found the right manifestation technique. They're not affirming properly. Maybe they're not scripting properly. They're not using visualization, or whatever it is that they've decided is the way that they're going to manifest. And they're focusing so much on these techniques that they're not really focusing or even hearing themselves. Now, remember, I always talk about this, and I'm going to tag a couple of videos. The manifestation techniques, that's not where the power lies. The power lies in you. And so when you don't listen to you, then what do you think you're going to manifest? When you're not listening to those little intuition, those nudges, noticing how your life is syncing up with certain things, paying attention to the lessons that are coming across. I like to think of it as your personal feed, right? Well, what do you think that you're manifesting, right? Are you stepping into your true power to manifest all that you can? How can you do that when you're not listening to you? So let's talk about the subtle ways that we abandon ourselves and abandon our power. And one of the ways that we do that is, of course, as I was saying before, by not listening to ourselves, not listening to our feelings, not listening to our thoughts, and not honoring our intuition. But there's other ways that we do that. So one is we override that gut feeling. So something comes up. Maybe it's about the manifestation. Maybe it's about the SP that you're trying to manifest, or maybe just even have a new love and you're not listening to your gut feeling about maybe you should go to that place, or maybe you shouldn't go to that place. Maybe you should, go online, try online dating, but your gut feeling is telling you something and you're not listening. That's one way that we're not stepping into our power. We're not listening to ourselves. You could be pleasing someone else. You could be working against yourself by not listening to yourself and listening to someone else talk about whatever it is, right? Like basically overriding your own inner authority because you're doing that to please someone else. Another one that we commonly do is we ignore our body. We ignore our body's no. Our body keeps score. Our body is a perfect register of how we're truly feeling. That's what our emotions are. They're giving us a guidance system to let us know when we are in alignment with ourselves, right? It's not that we listen to every single emotion and we, let our emotions carry us. But what we do is we do listen to our emotions to provide us with clues and information so that we can understand truly what's going on, because our logical brain is not the only thing that's interpreting everything that's going on. Sometimes you silence your desires, right? You might think, oh, that's too much. And I've done a video before about getting a little selfish about your desires and owning what you want. So I will tag that video. You can't basically say no to your desires when you're trying to manifest the thing that you want. Your desires are coming to you for a reason. So you can't silence them and have what you want. It makes perfect sense, right? And then sometimes we make ourselves small, right? We dim our own light. We don't allow ourselves to be seen and heard. This happens often when we're trying to please other people. In a subtle way, this is another way of saying, get back on that pedestal, right? Don't put someone else's thoughts, feelings, emotions above your own, right? When you get off the pedestal, which essentially is the command station for your own life. That's honestly what we're talking about here. And when we self-abandon, when we don't listen to ourselves, our thoughts and our feelings, what do you think is getting mirrored back to us in the world around us, in our relationships, and most definitely in the manifestation that we are seeking? So what does it really mean to value ourselves, right? What does it really mean to value ourselves? First of all, it means quite simply listening to ourselves, paying attention, being aware. Perhaps you might need some meditation, some quiet time. Go outside with nature. Figure out how you can value yourself by listening to yourself. What do you need in your environment to make it easy and conducive to do so? 2, it means trusting your intuition, even when it doesn't make sense. Oftentimes our intuition doesn't make sense because it's that other part of ourselves, that highest part of ourselves that we're not always in tune to. But manifesting what you desire is in alignment with listening to your intuition and trusting it, even when it doesn't make complete sense, right? And then it also means believing your feelings, trusting that your feelings are valid. Again, we're not going to go jump off a cliff because we feel like it, but what we are going to do, we're going to trust those feelings that say, hey, there's something here that I need to learn about myself. There's something here that I need to grow into. There's a lesson that is coming forth in this relationship, in this person, in this lack of money, in this trying to get a job, whatever is happening in your life. When we trust our feelings about it, we're able to then listen, and those feelings guide us to the awareness and the next best step when we're paying attention. So what does ignoring yourself do? It blocks your manifestation, quite simply. How can you, as the co-creative power, remember it's you and God that are creating these manifestations. It's you using your free will, your thoughts, your beliefs, your desires to harness your power to create what you want on this physical plane. That's what's happening here. So how can you manifest in your highest, best when you're ignoring it? You can't. Basically, you're creating a split within you. You're creating a split that's like your highest self and your lowest self, or even you're giving more power to the 3D. Let me put it that way. You're giving more power to your 3D self and not your 5D or your highest self. So when we do that, we're creating a split, and we're not able to get on the timeline that we want to get onto because we're either standing at the crossroads or we're still walking down the timeline that doesn't fit what we're trying to do. So when we stay split, in essence, we're staying stuck. We're not able to move into the highest timeline where our manifestation lives. We're creating split energy. So we're not able to focus and harness our intention and attention on the manifestation that we truly desire. Your manifestation is your desire aligned with your wholeness, right? Your manifestation is when your desire is aligned with your wholeness. That is the place in the quantum, that's the place in the universe where your manifestation exists. The one that is your highest and your best. You have to embody it. You have to bring yourself there. And that version of you listens to you and pays attention to you. So I'd love to give you a couple of reconnection practices that can help you do this. First of all, check in with yourself. Ask, what do I actually feel right now? What do I need right now? What should I do right now? Begin to ask yourself, ask God, ask the God of your belief system, right? What do I need to do? How can I best hear myself? What am I feeling? And I suggest using a journaling technique and actually writing these answers out, and then even saying, where am I overriding my own intuition? Where am I overriding myself? Where am I not allowing myself to fully own what I feel, think, my intuition, my highest belief system? Where am I blocking myself? And then I want you to do one embodiment thing. I want you to make one small choice today that's in alignment with your desire, with the version of you that is embodied in your highest and best self, the version of you, the future you that has that manifestation. I want you just to make one small choice today that honors that version of you and that inner knowing. So, when you ignore your own thoughts, feelings, and intuition, you're not just delaying your manifestation, you're rejecting that divine power within you. As you know, manifestation is co-creating with God. It's working through you, right? So when you listen to yourself and you honor yourself, you're honoring the highest part of you. You're trusting your inner guidance. And the more that you align with that spiritual authority, the more that you can speed up the timeline to the thing that you are desiring, whether that's a person, a place, a thing, more money, more love, your SP, because our highest and our most positive and abundant selves and our most loving selves are manifested from our wholeness, not our perfection, which I will get to in another video, but we are manifesting from our wholeness, the best things for our lives, right? We want to be the highest version of ourselves so that we can manifest our highest timeline and have all the things that we desire that are truly for our best. So today, I'm going to encourage you again to go back to the reconnection practices, to drop what you're trying to manifest below, and let us know, what is that one embodiment practice that you are doing today to honor your future self? And for those of you that know that you want to work with me, that know that there's something you're not seeing, there's some sort of block, there's some sort of healing that still remains, I'd love for you to schedule and get a one-on-one session. So it is my hope that this has been helpful to you. Make sure you're subscribed, like, and comment, and I'll see you in the next video.